The heart of our missions is that God will be glorified and the others will know the grace of God who has called us. Learn how God is using the lives of people like you and like me to expand His kingdom. This is Between Brothers.
All right, our timer is going, 45 minutes. Okay, so you feeling well?
Yeah.
All right. Let's pray.
Okay.
Lord, thank you for my brother Joel. Thank you for his life. And I pray that you would help us to speak honestly, openly, sharing of what you've done in his life. We thank you for the work of salvation that you have done in us to make us brothers in Christ. And I pray that this conversation right now, that you would guide it and direct it so that it would be of encouragement to others, and also a testimony to you, of your power, of your grace and love in our lives. And I pray that you would be honored and glorified. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, so first off, your full name.
My full name, Joel Tresierra Urbina.
Joel Tresierra Urbina. Okay, so you don't have a second name?
No.
Just a first name and two last names?
Yes.
Now, in English, if you said Joel Tresierra Urbina, what was it? Urbina, people would think Tresierra is your middle name. Is your middle name. Okay. Because, we all know you as Joel Tresierra or Joel Tresierra. Joel's a name that works good in English.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and where are you from?
I'm from Peru.
Peru, right. And before, we did not have very many students here from Peru.
Oh, really?
And then your brother came.
Yes.
And now we have lots of people here from Peru.
We have the whole family here.
Yeah. Okay. How did you learn English? Because your family in general, you and your boys, and even your wife, I think, but especially you and your boys speak English really well. So how did that come about? How come you speak English?
Okay, well, I think everything starts with my father's job. He was in the 90s, or probably. He was, before that, probably in the 85, he was working with missionaries.
Okay.
Baptist mission.
Okay. I'm going to pause right there because look, my sound waves are nice and big.
Oh.
And yours are really small. I think you should put it right. Wow, there.
No.
How is it now?
1, 2, 3.
Oh, it's still really low. Okay. Pause. Okay.
Could be.
So, where were we? You said it all started with your father
Yes.
for learning English.
Yeah. Well, actually, he at that time he was working with missionaries.
Okay.
So I can
English.
I can probably say that. Yeah.
English speaking
speakers,
missionaries.
yes, missionaries. Oh yeah. Okay. So I remember when playing with the MKs around. So
Like how old were you when you were remembering this?
in my teens, probably 11, 12. Well, actually, he was working since I was born. So, yep.
Mm-hmm. But you remember playing with missionary kids?
Oh, yeah, since I'm
Was
a
little.
little kid, like a 5.
And they
5,
spoke
6, 7.
English, so you
Yeah,
started learning English.
Probably. I probably that's the seed of
Okay.
how is just everything. How did I learn English?
Mm-hmm.
But then when I was like 18, I started helping one missionary base called BCM in it's Bible Center Ministries in Peru.
Okay.
And so the principal, they used to have these missionary trips. So he put me in charge of the whole groups that were coming from U.S. So
Okay.
I kind of forced to talk in English.
All right. Since you were 18.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay. So you were forced to start using all your English because you had to communicate with a whole group of people. A whole group of people that
Yes.
you were in charge of.
Yes.
And what were these groups of people doing with the mission?
Well, and at that time, I'm talking about like in the 98 probably.
Okay.
So they were coming from US because the BCM base in Lima, they were just started. So they got a bunch of guys just coming to work or coming to make different gospel things on the streets. So
Okay.
so I was in charge of that particular group of all American.
When they would come, was it normally be for 1 week or 1 month or how much time?
Depends. Most of the group just came probably for more than 2 or probably sometime for a month, complete
Okay.
month.
And were they big groups?
Oh yeah, they were
Oh,
like
wow.
a pre. I think like the smaller group was like a 15 people.
15.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
a small group.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they used to have a lot because they were just starting everything. They were building the dorms and the Commodore and all that. Yeah.
For a campus.
Yes. They have quite a big campus in Lima.
Okay. Okay. And then okay, so that was from when you were little, but there was missionaries. But then when you were 18, there was these short-term missionaries coming.
Yeah.
And then how long did that go on for? How long were you involved with
Okay.
short-term missions like that?
Okay. Well, I've been involved in VCM in this
VCM?
particular mission till I got married. So I'm probably talking from the 98 to 2006.
Okay.
Then I got
Okay.
married with my
About
wife,
8 years.
and then we decided to left the mission.
Like the campus? Like the ministry?
No. The thing is, when we got married with Evelyn, we were trying to think how are we going to involve our ministry life. So I remember talking to her for a long period of time before we get married, and then at the end we decided to be involved in fully on pastoral things.
Oh.
So
Instead of so much with the missions.
yeah.
And more in pastoral work.
Yes, because we I at that time I was in VCM, so it's kind of either to stay in VCM working with teenagers and people from the streets, or to be involved in pastoral in church. So at that time we decided to be involved in church. So that's why we left VCM, and then we got married and we've been in
And that was in
mission and in
2006?
pastor. Yeah, it's 2006.
How old were you when you got married?
I was 28.
28. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
So I think that means. Wait, let's see here. Well, no, I was going to try to do calculations, but that's okay. But okay. So before we get more into your story, because I want to hear more of your story, right? Okay. But I have a question about short-term missions.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of, I think there were a lot of missionaries going out from the U.S., long-term missionaries. Then there was a period of time when there was lots of short-term missions.
Oh, yeah.
And then now there are some people saying that short-term missions is not actually worth doing very much. That
Okay.
sometimes it takes more work and more money, and it's not really. So like there's some people and some books. There's lots of books about short-term missions saying it's not. It's really easy to do short-term missions that doesn't make sense. And so I want to get your perspective because you were receiving basically short-term missionaries and they were working with you, or you were in charge of them. So from your perspective, when is short-term missions good and when is it bad, or maybe just not doing very much, not helping very much?
Interesting question.
It's a big question.
Yeah, it is.
So you don't have to try and say like everything big, but from your perspective in that range of 8 years or whatever it was, what did you see that was good, and what did you see that was either hard or like wasting money, or
Well, for example, I'm gonna tell you from my experience, because I start pretty young, being like a helping guy in VCM. I never thought on being missionary there. I was just like a regular guy doing several things, and then I got some responsibilities. Then I got married with my wife, and we went to the jungle to be pastors. We went for a planting church there for 9 years, and then
9 years?
No, it was 8 years.
8 years, wow.
and then we come back to our sending church in Lima. So I was at that time pastoring for 9 years. Okay. So, in my perspective, I do appreciate the work that the people from US do, just leaving everything behind and then moving with all his family. In my first experience, I was close to SAM, South American Mission, in Pucallpa, Peru, in the jungle. Great families. Most of them, as you says, they were doing like a full-time, long period missionary. For example, they were some people that stayed for 22 years, 25, 30 years, and whatever. And but then I met some other, like stay for 5 years, 2 years. Actually, I met one family that just stayed 1 year, and they moved with their 6 kids, and then stood just 1 year, and then they left. And then I met some other then, as I told you, people that just come for a month and then they left. I don't think it's a bad idea. What I think is, in my perspective in Lima or in Peru, there is a lot of lack of vision about. So, for example, I don't see nothing wrong on taking like 15 guys, or it could be teens or young adults or single guys or families, even though, to come to Peru and spend 1 year or spend 5 weeks, whatever. What I think, what I have thought, what I think, what I thought, and what I have saw is that there is a lacking of what are their needs, what are the people who is coming, what are the idea of them to come, what are they gift about, because I have seen when we were in the jungle, at that time I was working with Julio Chan. He's one of the missionaries in South America now, and he used to bring people from Calvary Chapel from Fort Lauderdale in Miami.
Okay.
And they were like a bunch of guys, single guys, 30 single guys over there.
Okay.
But but Julio, he had like a amazing vision about, and I think it was worthy for them to come, and not also for what they've been doing in the jungle in the church that we were planting. I mostly says even for them, because the pastor, it was Vili Venecia, the youth pastor from the single guys. He was so quite understanding of what is the mission trip all about. So I remember seeing the guys cutting hair, using their talent and using their gift.
Okay.
So in my perspective, that's the
When
that's
there's a vision for the goal, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And what from what you've seen, what are sometimes the consequences when there isn't a vision, or when there isn't a vision for short-term missions?
is probably those idea of this is not going well.
Okay. No one knows
Yeah,
why.
we are giving a lot of money and we are not returning anything.
Okay.
But for example, at that time, Julio took the same pastor, the same group, like 3 different years. So
Okay.
they were coming like for every summer, and most of them they were building stuff, because we Julio made a huge roof for the church. Most of them they were like workers, and I remember it was my first connection with. Oh, this is a Peruvian idea, okay?
Okay.
Or probably my idea. At that time, it was my first connection with somebody that was the man who
A
cut.
barber?
Yeah, a barber, but he was a man.
Oh, really?
So
like in Peru, it's
yeah.
almost always ladies.
Yes, or some of the guys, but I mean like different. But he was a man. He was a barber.
Yeah.
He was so cool.
Okay.
A pretty nice guy. Pretty God
Like centered? God.
yeah, God-centered
Okay.
guy.
And
And
he was a barber.
yeah, but in his, I mean, you can have like a pretty strong conversation with them. He was probably at the time, probably 30 something.
Okay.
But he was a barber. So it's something that you don't see it every time. It's like you're a barber, but he was a pretty quiet, straight guy on his mind about God and all that. But he came to invest his time cutting hair. So
Okay.
that's it.
And what benefit did that have to the church or for the gospel
Oh, it was.
and being able to come and cut hair? Like, how did that
Oh yeah.
go with the vision?
Okay. Julio at that time he was the guy in charge of this church planting with 2 other missionaries. The idea was he was a motocross champion in Peru.
Okay.
So he was pretty famous.
Okay.
He's still now. So at that time, he just have these 30 kids, 30 guys, crazy ones, and so the idea was to use them and use their talents and idea of talking. I think in two different ways. One was to encourage the youth from the church
Okay.
that they can do the same,
Okay.
and it happened. most of the youth from the church, probably they have never seen something like that. Like hey, it's a barber and he quite pretty know much about God.
Okay.
So probably I think one of the idea was that to that people who is coming from US, he can be an impact from the people from the church. The other thing was using their talent for the people for the people from the street in Pucallpa. We invite them to come. We invited to cut hair. We invited to basketball clinic. Basketball clinic.
So it's like an outreach.
Yeah,
Bringing people in.
Yeah, they at that time they were doing those. I don't know how do they call that? They were making this as the dancing things, street. Theaters and I don't know how do you call that.
A street dramas,
but it was on the street with music.
Like
it was so
or
powerful.
Street performance.
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
So it was pretty good.
Yeah.
For example, Julio used to use a rampa. How do you call that?
A ramp,
yeah. And to use his motorcycle and to jump on over the 100 people that were there.
Wow.
So
that's crazy.
So yeah. So using this huge group that in the morning was like a cutting hair, and then during the night they were doing this motion things and on the street. None of them knew Spanish.
Interesting.
So everything, it was just mute thing.
Yeah.
But
like
it was powerful
drama.
because they
music and acting.
Yeah, and acting and holding.
I've been part of one of those before. Yeah.
So and they were doing that in the jungle in the city, but also in the inner jungle, like some other jungle from they took these little boats and 5 or probably more hours on the river down.
Okay.
And they were doing the same thing in the different towns. So,
that's really interesting stuff to hear. That was a little question. Now it took up some time, but it's good to hear. Now I know you some because we get to work together, but let's learn a little bit more. So you have 3 boys, right?
Yep.
3 boys. Evelyn is your wife, and your older brother, and his family are also here.
Yes.
Now I've heard some of his story, but in Spanish. So the people listening to this episode don't know the story.
Okay.
So I know that you grew up in a Christian family.
Yes, that's right.
But I want to hear. Okay, so one of the biggest miracles always, because this podcast is about hearing how God worked in your life, right? And always the first most amazing miracle is making us come alive spiritually, right? So I want to hear. I think there's lots of students here in the Bible college who grew up in Christian families. Not all of them. Some of them have very different stories, but lots have. And hearing what did God use to help you realize that you needed to be saved, that you needed salvation. And maybe for some people, it's just like growing up, just knowing that and learning more and more. And for some people, there's like a moment where it's like, oh, this is not just like, as long as I'm in the right family, I am part of, I get to go to heaven. So how was it for you? When did you begin to understand the gospel?
Well, but my dad was he was a principal of a mission a seminar.
A seminary?
And then he was a pastor from churches in I think he was like a pastor from several churches, not in the same time, but in different moments, like probably 5 churches.
Okay.
in Trujillo, Peru. Then he got cancer at the 88. Then he died in 1992.
How old were you? You
I
were
was
like a
I was on the probably 14, 13.
Yeah.
Probably 14.
okay.
So
Pretty young still.
Yeah.
Mm.
Now, I want you to understand something. When I saw my brother podcast, there is a lot of things that I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right, because
So-
you were younger. You were right.
Yeah, and probably
And you also have shared with me.
no.
before.
I was probably actually I erase it.
That's what you shared with me before.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I was kind of shocked when I it was probably the first time that I'm talking to him about that or listen to him
Remembering
remembering
those things.
and he got the whole details of everything and
Of
but
that part of your life.
Yes,
When you
yes.
lost your father.
Uh-huh.
And for you just kind of put that behind you.
So he got a lot of details. So if you want to know something, you have to listen on Spanish.
In Spanish, right? I don't know
Okay.
how we will get it into. You have to remember what you can, I guess. No, I don't know.
Okay, so I do remember that I even baptized when I was probably 10
Okay.
at the church. I really got a huge struggle when I was after my dad passed away. I remember, I wasn't that mean, but I was like struggling a lot in my ideas of my dad and my mom. They kind of have everything prepared for the future. Then he died. So and for example,
that's right. Yeah.
So for example, my Joas, since he was a young, since I got an idea of what he wanted to do, he just pretty straight thing. I want to be a pastor. I want to be part of the ministry. I want to be a professor and all that. It was always in his mind.
Like he didn't want to be a pastor, right?
No. He wanted to be a pastor.
Oh, okay.
He always wanted to be involved in the ministry.
In ministry.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So that's pretty
always
good.
wanted to be part of it. Okay.
Since I know him.
Okay.
But on the other hand, I am completely the opposite.
Okay.
My idea is I don't want to be in a mission.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's nothing about mission. It's just it's something I don't like it. It's because my idea of God at that time, it was completely different. I just wanted to have a normal job and be I like to draw. I like publisher. So at that time, I want to be a publisher.
Okay.
And try to study about try to do a publisher. So he got cancer. He died. And in my time, it was like at that time it was like what I'm gonna do, because I know what I would like to do, but now I can't do it because I don't have money and all that. But at that time, Rene is one of the is my oldest brother in God.
Okay.
So he actually married the three of us. He married my Joas, my Evelyn and I, and my sister and Danielle.
Okay.
So at that time he got it in his house. So he was the older brother for us, leading us on the way and trying to understand what to do with my life. So at that time, I remember being in his church, Rene Church in Cusco, Peru, and I was probably in my I was in 10th, probably in 10th grade.
Okay.
And at the time, I was helping my brother. He was one of the leaders in the youth group. I was always being a helper.
Okay.
Never been the main guy, but just
okay.
always the helper.
Okay.
So at that time, I realized there is a lot of things going on in the mind of the young on the youth, so I would like to help them. I got some ideas and I was always things out of the box.
Okay.
Okay. So probably that's how everything starts. So at that time,
As far as like working in ministry and stuff, or
not really working in ministry, but at least I was like okay, I really want to keep working as a publisher, as a graphic designer.
Okay.
But trying to connect, but probably this little kid over here doesn't need a drawing from me. But he was probably in some of the needs that I can be there.
Hey everyone, Billy Jackson here. This is our podcast Entre Hermanos, and that means between brothers. We want the brothers and sisters of Christ hearing the stories of what God is doing to prepare future pastors and missionaries for His church. That's what we're trying to do. So if you enjoy the stories, share this podcast with others and have so that they can hear what God is doing around the world. And we hope that to grow and get better in telling these stories, and we hope that you will be able to enjoy them and praise the Lord for what He is doing. Okay, so you mentioned at the time, as a teenager, was a hard time for you?
Yeah.
Like, what were the hard things?
Being alone, watching my mom working and working pretty hard.
Yeah. To take care of the family.
Yes. Okay. And it wasn't that. Well, the thing is, she, as my dad, they work they studied in the seminar. None of the, or probably few, but none of the seminars in Peru are accredited.
Oh,
so
okay.
if you got a mom alone, widow, non-accreditation, no diplomas, no nothing.
Okay.
There is she's just on God's hands, and that's not nothing wrong on that. But
now you guys were working with, was it BC?
Oh yeah, that happened on the 98, something like that.
Oh, when you start working with that mission.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But for example, I wasn't working there. I was
just helping.
Helping. Because I never received something like a monthly payment or something.
Right.
No, I was
okay. Going back to when you were 10, you said so you were baptized when you were 10. Mm-hmm. Do you think that's when you understood the gospel and you began to try?
No, probably not.
When do you feel you understood?
When I was in my 10th grade, there in Cusco, and really struggling. What I'm gonna do? Do I really wanna try to fight on doing my idea of publishing and all that, or could I mix it? Could I be like still, I don't want to be a pastor, I don't want to be a missionary, but what about if I can do something on drawing and helping missionaries and talking with some kids or teens.
Did you
Trying to.
Did you come to a point where you feel like you were deciding if you were going to like live out your plan or live for God? Like, was it that kind of decision?
Probably, but probably not on that quote that what am I gonna do? It's just probably I was just trying to figure out what could be the best plan.
Okay.
So
that makes sense as far as the best plan. But what about understanding, okay, I need to be saved from my sin and be part of like an eternal kingdom.
No, that happened
as a kid?
when that happened when
teenager?
I was when I was in my 10th grade.
Right.
Yeah. When
And
I was
was it-
helping my brother. And
Okay.
I remember then like okay, probably my plans is not working well and probably is never gonna work well. So I remember being in the church when I like to help. So I was on the second part of second floor of the roof and of the church, and then I was like pretty quiet, trying to get at the idea, and then I said, yeah, why not? God is the best thing that ever happened to me, and the kids at that time we were working with kids and some teens, so we said, yeah. Well, I never lose my faith. I was just struggling. What am I gonna do with this?
Okay, so you say never lost your faith. When did you have your faith?
Oh,
When did you believe, okay, there is a God and I belong to him?
probably when I was 8, but I have lost my most of my
Of your memory of
yes.
that. Like, how complete? Like, you can't remember anything during that time?
Yes.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Not.
But for example, I just realized that when I was here listening Joa's
Like, can you
podcast.
remember what your mom and dad looked like?
Oh yeah. Well, my mom is alive, but
But like at that time, when you were 8 or 10.
I got some pictures.
Some pictures, okay. But as far as like where you lived or what things happened to you?
What did I remember what I lived, because I before we came here we went with my family. Well, yeah, we went there to Trujillo again. I went there
to see
to see some
place?
of the things. Yeah.
Okay.
But I didn't have as much as detailed things as Joa says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's some things you remember, but just not everything.
No. I know.
Yeah.
For example, Joas remember friends and moments and well, I remember. Well, I was always sleeping with Joas in the same room. I remember that, but that's it. I remember the kids. I remember some of the missionary kids and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Not really remember specific details.
Right.
So
you don't remember like when you first. I mean, you grew up in a Christian family, so you were always hearing about Jesus, about God. You don't remember like when it was like you're like, oh, this is what it means. It wasn't like that. It was just always hearing and understanding.
Yeah. Well, my mom she did a pretty good job on our lives, and for example, I can remember a particular story about one fireman that come into a building that is on fire and saving somebody, and that's my idea of salvation when I was
when you were younger.
but that's it.
Like that was like the
Yeah, the thing.
What
yeah,
Jesus does for us.
Yeah,
He comes in and
comes
saves
in
us.
and save you and save.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. I'm not sure how much more time we have left because I can't actually see the clock.
Oh, 3 minutes.
Oh my goodness. We have 2 minutes. But we need to add a few minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, we can't go too much over it because it's evening time already. Okay, but I wanted to know about how did you end up here then?
Okay.
So because you didn't want to be a pastor or a missionary.
Yeah.
So what do you wait? Is that still the case? Do you still not want to be a pastor or a missionary? And if so, what are you doing at a Bible college?
Well, when I got married, I got mature. Evelyn make it mature.
Oh, okay.
Evelyn mature me.
Marriage either makes you mature or things don't go good. Yeah.
So it was 2006, and we were having a pretty quiet conversation with Evelyn at that time with my fiance, and trying to think how are we gonna do our life together. So at that time, I am a man of decision. That's the thing.
Of what?
Decision.
Okay.
So
you
at that
make
time,
a decision and
that's it.
move forward. Okay.
So at that time, after looking a lot of ideas and things and plans and all that, we decided to be involved in missions through the church.
Okay.
So we got married. We talked to Tom Pace, our at that time he was the pastor of our church.
Okay.
He sent us to Pucallpa. So at that time the pastoral thing was familiar for me. So it wasn't nothing strange.
Okay.
That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because my grandfather is a pastor.
Okay.
He was a pastor. My dad was a pastor.
Mm-hmm.
So wasn't something crazy in my mind. Mm-hmm. It was the idea is, if the idea, do I want to do this for a long term or in my life?
Mm-hmm.
So when we got married, we decided, okay, this is something that we would like to do. And so since that time, we were always been involved in that. We went to, in after we get married, I've been in a seminary. Joas was in a seminary too. It's not accredited, so I get married. I've been in mission for 8 years in the jungle. Then I come to the capital, Lima, in Peru, and at that time I always like to try to go on. So my idea was, I got these ideas of Bible. I've been in a seminar, but I wanted at that time to do a master or something else. So I talked to my pastor in Tom Pace. He allowed me to be a pastor and also be a student. He told me, okay, the church is gonna pay for you. You tell me where do you want to go, it was everything online. So where do you gonna be in studying and as you are working here. It was perfect. So I remember visiting some online seminars, but most of those seminars request me to start all over because I didn't have accreditations.
And you did your bachelor's wasn't accredited.
No.
So you could not move on to your master's.
No.
Okay.
So so it's like
I think Joas, it was the same with Joas,
yeah,
right?
it was the same with Joas.
Yeah.
So at the time, we're like, okay. So I remember being in Seteca for two not semester, but for two classes.
Classes?
For two classes. Okay.
2 semesters?
No. Two classes.
2 classes.
Yeah,
Okay.
Because I was online, so I took one class and another.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then I said, no, this is not what I want. So then I go back.
Did you start with Rio Grande? Did you start online first? Or-
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because
Yes.
I remember the
Yep.
first time I saw you was a video for Dia de la Raza recorded.
Yes. So Joás, he's from BC. He's a missionary from BCM. The last president of BCM show him Rio Grande.
Okay.
So
So that's how he knew about it.
Yeah. Then he talked to me because Joás is my best friend.
Okay.
This is the thing.
Okay.
So he talked to me about, and then we. At that time, I was working as a pastor, so I said, "Yeah, it was good." He put his admission things. Then
For coming here? Okay.
Yeah,
Did you wait for him to start studying here, and like
No.
he told you, or no? You came.
No. I
applied.
I was applying because this is something that I wanted to do.
Okay. So you applied like basically around the same time.
Yes, we did.
But he got his visa got accepted.
No. The idea is he got the idea to stay in to come here and to do the
to come here
yeah,
and
to
do
come
the 4 years.
and
Okay. But your idea was
But-
to study online.
yes, because at that time I was working.
So what changed your plan? We're technically out of time, so but what changed your plan from online to it would be better to come here?
Well, then at that time I decided to left my position as pastor.
Okay.
I've been.
So you were the lead pastor of a church.
No, I was the second pastor.
Oh, okay.
The slash pastor.
Associate pastor.
Yeah, the slash one.
Okay. Okay. So
but still I was in the church helping in many different things. I made we found a non-profit organization in Lima.
how long ago was that started?
3 years ago.
Okay.
So at the time I left pastoring. I talked to the pastor about something that is going on in my family, in my life, and trying to see what could we do next.
Mm-hmm.
It was 8 years here, then 8 years
What
here.
made you decide it was time to be done being the associate pastor or the second pastor?
I start talking to a friend that encouraged me to do something that it was in my mind, but I didn't get the whole perspective of how to do it, or how to do it. When I got Lima, I met this guy, amazing guy. He's one of my kind of mentors,
Mm-hmm.
Marcos Calderon. And so I just shared to him what is on my mind.
Was it about the NGO or is it something?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because
about the
the thing is, I don't think to be a pastor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I like to help people.
Yeah.
I just love helping people.
Interesting.
So when I talking to Evelyn and she told once she told me, "Hey, do you really like to be a pastor?" And I said, yes, well, kind of. But I would like to be helping more than be a pastor. Well,
Yeah,
I do this. I do both things, but this is something that I like a lot, like helping
people,
So
serving people.
at that time, we decided to unplug the pastor idea. Then we plug the okay, we're gonna make one not-profit organization that really, really, really helps the pastoral family and the church. So and we did it. So we are now helping. It's Yanapacoy, Peru, and we're like helping 19 different churches in Peru. So that leads me to the other thing. It's I need to get prepared because I would like to help them to do something that I've been I've been a pastor. I got some idea of, and I got some struggles too. So I would like to help them, and so I want to come here, finish all. We came here with the idea of to get a master degree too with my wife.
Okay.
So both, if we are well trained, we can come back and really be helping on that.
Serving pastors.
Yeah, serving pastors.
So your plan is to get the bachelor's, get the master's.
As we are helping right now.
Right, because your NGO, the nonprofit, is continuing right now.
Yes.
You're directing it. You're the director from here, and then going back, better able to serve the pastors
and families,
churches. Okay.
Well, we really want to help pastor, not the church. We really want to help straight to the pastor, so the pastor can do the work.
Oh.
So I don't
like with counseling or what?
No, they don't really. Well, some need counseling. I don't want to be involved in that. But most of them just need visions. And so I got a lot of vision. I like vision. I like to macro things. I like to do it.
Like the big picture.
Oh yeah. And Evelyn is pretty good on the small things.
Oh, okay.
So when we do something, I kind of paint the big picture, and then she start to. Blah, 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 blah.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, that's the idea. That's why we came. And one of the things, it was okay. If this is from God, you need to move us. So God start moving Evelyn. It was Evelyn she got involved in studying. She likes to study. She's pretty good on studying. She's even better than me, and she likes to, but she got 3 kids. So and she's involved in their lives. So I can't do anything. I am the husband, but I'm not the guy who's gonna say, hey, we move. I don't want to do that. So she got on online. She finished one course, and she was right away. She was like, this is something I want to keep doing it, and I want to finish it.
Okay.
So it was June. Yeah, it was June, and we need to present our papers to come either in August or in January. So we present everything on June.
Okay.
And we got accepted on the next day.
Oh wow.
We present, and then we got the whole papers, and we went to the embassy on the second week of July. So it's June. Two more weeks. It's July. We present the paper. We got the visa, and then the other thing is, okay, we need the money to move the whole
The whole family. The whole family.
And we got
Wow.
got everything, and then we came here at August 7th.
Yeah, that's quick.
Oh yeah.
That's quick, even if you're not talking about visas and
Oh, yeah,
paperwork
yeah.
and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Just moving a family
Yeah.
in 1 month, month and a half is fast.
We sell some of our stuff. We give away a lot. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Take it
Yeah.
out.
Okay, well, brother, there's a lot more we could talk about. We could talk about your kids, your sons, which are
Okay.
awesome people.
Oh yeah.
And I love playing with soccer with them
Oh
out
yeah.
on the
Yeah.
court.
They're pretty good guys.
I wanted to hear, it would be cool if sometime in the future we could talk about how did you start the nonprofit? Like,
Oh, yeah.
where did it come from? And then what did it take? What did God have to provide for it to
Yeah.
begin?
Mhm.
How are you doing it from another country?
Oh yeah.
All of that. But right now,
Mhm.
we're out of time.
Okay.
Maybe you have to say to your wife that if she comes, then you can keep talking.
Okay. It could be a good thing for her, but she's pretty shy on this, and she's starting the no, it's not ICS, right? It's ICS.
The English,
The English
emphasis, or
emphasis.
bilingual emphasis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
she's gonna be taking English classes.
Yes, she's gonna
And
be.
they're intensive. They're
Oh, yeah.
like they're
Oh, yeah.
more
Oh, yeah.
than just
Yeah.
a normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No, she's pretty good.
Well, then she'll be back because
Oh, yeah.
Mark said that the English podcast is gonna be a requirement.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we had Aaron
Yes.
and Carla came
Yes.
and shared.
Yes.
But-
Well, she speaks pretty good. The thing
Yeah,
is, she
I
needs
think
to
she can.
she needs to break the ice.
Yeah. Your boys speak really good English too.
Oh, yeah.
And that's my other idea. Maybe. Have them on. But anyway, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for
okay.
sharing and sharing how just a little bit of how God's worked
Okay.
in your life.
Yeah, just two things. But because my main idea is, I think there are churches that need visions, and if I churches here in US that can help share vision of growing, and for churches in Peru, it's the best way to do mission. One thing is to do mission, but mission with a purpose, mission with vision. I think every little thing you do, you're gonna be worthy. But
All right.
you need to have a straight vision and with the pastor. So that's why I'm so involved in this. That I would like to help the pastors back in Peru, to help them to understand the vision. I think the most wonderful thing is God's body. So it's amazing. There is a lot of things that you can do with a church, but it just needs more vision.
All right. Well, thank you. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.